WWE commentary almost always shows bias based on who the commentator is supposed to back up, the face or the heel, or the storyline that's involved. But there are a lot of situations where each commentator has a very clear favorite on who they like or they might dislike.
Oh yeah! It's Austin! Stone Cold!
So in today's video, we're going to talk about every single commentator and who their bias is towards when it comes to the WWE superstars. Now, really quickly, before we get into the commentary team and the guys they're biased towards, do me one small favor. If you guys enjoy professional wrestling content, especially content about the WWE, make sure to hit that subscription button, turn on the bell for notifications, and let's get into the bias of each one of these commentators. First off, we're going to start with one of the most popular, if not the most argued to be the greatest commentator of all time, and that is Jim Ross. Now, this is not going to shock anybody out there. I would say that JR's most biased superstar is Stone Cold Steve Austin. JR had this absolute love and admiration, and honestly had a very good on-screen, I guess, partnership / relationship with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Austin doesn't give a damn if he's employed or not. Stone Cold will never be Employee of the Month. And Stone Cold Steve Austin is the toughest son of a bitch I ever saw. It wins! Austin wins! Long live the rattlesnake! The toughest son of a bitch in the WWE!
There was literally an entire storyline built around Stone Cold Steve Austin actually saving JR's job. But the way that Jim Ross would talk about Steve Austin, the way he would interact every single time Steve Austin was on the screen, the way he would hype him up, the way that he would just treat him like being this like godlike character is something that you have not seen with many of the commentary member teams. And anytime we got a pop and Steve Austin would come out there, JR would literally blow a gasket. The way he would react and the way he would pop every single time Steve Austin came out and the glass shattered was a thing to see in that time period.
The Texas Rattlesnake is back, King! Stone Cold! Right there! Stone Cold! Austin is the champion! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone...
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to JR. There are two superstars, in my opinion, that he had a very negative bias towards. The first one being the guy that he honestly absolutely hated as a character, and that was Kane. The man literally despised Kane. He looked at Kane as the most evil villain that you could possibly have, to the point where he wanted him to literally be taken outside, have all his bones broken, and get run over by a truck.
I'd like to see Kane to walk outside the building and get his 7-foot ass run over by a damn truck. That is one sick son of a bitch. Let me tell you, that hideous freak Kane, that sick, hideous son of a...
It was so cool as a young adult. I mean, honestly, as a kid, really growing up watching it and seeing JR just decimate the character of Kane and make you really think that Kane was this evil bad guy. And the way that JR would talk about it made you really think Kane really is that bad dude. And the second guy that he had a negative bias towards would be Triple H.
Well, that's a damn slobbing knock, isn't it, JR? Oh.
He honestly despised Triple H. I think that he is one of those announcers that if you could say did not like Triple H at any point in his career, it was definitely JR. The way he would talk about him, the way he would talk about how he's cheating and all the evil things he's doing just to keep his title was always a cool thing of JR keeping it real.
Why, Triple H? You son of a bitch! Why?
I think you're a sorry, low-down S.O.B.
Damn Triple H! Damn his soul! He's gonna rot in hell for what he did here tonight. You son of a bitch! Don't you hit her! Don't you hit her! Damn you all to hell, Triple H! You son of a bitch!
Next up, we have Corey Graves. Now, Corey Graves hasn't been on the commentary team as long as a lot of the other guys are going to be on this list, but the two people that Corey Graves seems to have a really big bias towards is the number one person on this list, without a doubt. He is a massive Becky Lynch fan.
Fresh off of a downright epic performance inside of War Games.
when Becky Lynch was the man, that every single time Becky would come out, just to hear him yell, the man is here and all that, like, Corey Graves was the biggest supporter of Becky Lynch, bar none. There is not a single person, in my opinion, on commentary that backed Becky Lynch like Corey Graves did.
The man is kicking things off on Monday Night Raw.
And I do believe they have a really great relationship outside of the WWE, which is why the second person that he is very biased towards happens to be Becky Lynch's husband and Seth Rollins. This man is the biggest Seth Rollins fan out there. The way that he would hype up every single thing he did in the ring, the way he would hype up his characters, the way he would make sure that everyone understood like the little things that Seth Rollins is doing, because let's be real here, Seth Rollins is arguably the greatest in-ring performer and storyteller in ring of this generation, and Corey Graves always made sure that we understood every single detail when it came to these two, and it's so awesome to see him really, you know, elevate arguably the two best superstars in the men's and the women's division in all of the WWE in this era. Next up, we have Pat McAfee. Now, Pat McAfee is an interesting one because I think he has three guys that he was always a massive fan of. And it's three guys that, like, I think it's very obvious on who they are. He always interacts with these guys' entrances. He always hypes them up. He always tries to make sure, even if they're a bad guy, that they're the good guy. So first up is Shinsuke Nakamura.
Let's go!
If you guys have ever realized, ever since Pat McAfee has been on the show, when Shinsuke would come out, he would go crazy to the theme song. He would always hype up Shinsuke's character. Every little thing that he did, Pat McAfee overreacted. Even times when Shinsuke was the good guy, even when times when Shinsuke was the bad guy, Pat McAfee seemed to never stray away from the Shinsuke love. Next up, I think, is the second biggest guy that Pat McAfee is a fan of, and that was Roman Reigns.
Westmore described this perfectly. This is the living embodiment of two subwoofers in the back, because when he shows up, he blows the windows out the flame.
He was, as you know, the young bloods on TikTok say nowadays, always glazing Roman Reigns.
Couldn't fathom a world without the island of relevancy. Fathom a world where Roman Reigns, the GOAT, would ever lose. When this dude does his thing, he wins. He is the GOAT.
When you had Michael Cole absolutely tried to like play devil's advocate with the whole Cody Rhodes character, Pat McAfee would never have it. Pat McAfee always made sure that we knew that he's a tribal chief, that he had over his 1,000-day reign, that no one could beat this man, and that he was just this unstoppable force as the leader of the bloodline.
This is the backbone of SmackDown. The entire arena is acknowledging for your tribal chief.
And lastly, and this one's kind of new, but it's kind of cool to see Pat McAfee really embrace this character, and in my opinion, actually help this character get over even more than he already was, and that was Jey Uso.
Let's go! The McAfee Cowboy said, feels like they're bucking on a bull right now. I'm pretty yeeted up right now. I'm yeeting all over myself like you last week, Cole.
The second Jey Uso became a solo star, Pat McAfee was so biased and gravitated towards just like the reaction that Jey Uso would get from the fans, and just the entrance, and just like my man was standing up on the announce table doing the yeets and going crazy anytime Jey Uso would come out. And it's cool because we've seen the elevation of a Jey Uso character, and to have someone in his corner like a Pat McAfee was chef's kiss. Mwah.
Ooh, it's hard not to eat all over yourself.
Now we're going to go into a little bit of a controversial one here with Jerry the King Lawler. I don't think this one's even hard. We all know who Jerry the King Lawler was biased towards. Anyone that had puppies. If you were a good-looking female on the roster, Jerry the King Lawler just was in love with you.
I'm talking about the puppies.
I knew what you were talking about.
Are you ready for some puppies? Look at the puppies, JR. I guess because it's Labor Day, the puppies have the night off.
Might be.
Look at Lita, she's got the puppies in a net.
He would hype up every single attractive woman on the roster, and anytime they were losing matches, he'd be all sad and be like, no, 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 yo, no. Anytime there was a panties and bras match, anytime a woman had any type of busty characteristics, as you know they would say nowadays, he was always just so, you know, complimentary and trying to like always hype up the sex appeal of these women. And I think that's something that Vince McMahon always tried to lean towards, and knew Jerry the King Lawler was this kind of like, I guess, weird like character who was just really into women and like over the top with it, and people just were like, oh, that's Jerry's kind of like the creepy pervy dude. It's funny.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh. I'd love to drink some of that eggnog right now. Oh my gosh! The bikini contest! Hey girls, I'm an organ donor. Need anything? Oh, stop it. Yeah, let me do that. Come on, let me have a spoon. What a set of hand warmers. It's the Christmas season, JR. Ho, ho, ho!
You know, like nowadays that character would not fly at all in today's professional wrestling, but during the Attitude Era, even during the Ruthless Aggression Era, that seemed to work really well. Booker T's an easy one. I mean, Booker T literally makes this guy's theme song just, you know, what it is today. And it's not just this one guy. The one thing I have realized about Booker T's really big into being biased towards guys he knows are very raw, but are on the edge of elevating to superstardom. That's why I think he was a big fan of a guy like a Carmelo Hayes, and the guy who I think he's the most biased towards, which is a Trick Williams.
That's Trick, yeah. Oh yeah, man. That's the champ, man.
And when he was over on the main roster, he was a massive New Day fan. He knew that each one of those New Day members were this close to being world champions. And we saw it with Kofi Kingston. We saw it with Big E. But nowadays, if you watch any NXT, you know that Booker T is the biggest Trick Williams and Roxanne Perez that you could possibly see out there.
Oh, lifetime! Here is your winner!
Big history was just made. Oh my God, man.
This one is an honorary mention, but he used to be on commentary. That was Paul Heyman, and this one I think is really easy. He is the biggest Brock Lesnar. Anyone who was a Paul Heyman, you know, client, anytime they let Paul Heyman do commentary, somehow, some way, he had to make sure that his clients, whether it be a Curtis Axel, whether it be a Brock Lesnar, a Roman Reigns, a CM Punk, any of those guys, if you were a Paul Heyman guy, he made sure that everybody knew you were that guy. And lastly, the guy I know you guys are all waiting for, I will argue that he is the greatest commentator in the history of WWE. I know a lot of people like to say it's JR. I know some people come out there and say it was a Vince McMahon is the greatest WWE commentator of all time. In my opinion, I think Michael Cole is the greatest commentator of all time. And I think that Michael Cole has a very strong bias towards the guy. And I'm talking about, there's something about the way he gravitates and helps elevate the guy of the WWE to being even bigger than they are. And there are two guys, in my opinion, that he is the most biased towards. And it's funny because this first guy is somebody that was listed as a top face, but also the biggest heel in the company. And no matter what, it seemed that Michael Cole just knew how to elevate him, whether he was talking amazing about him or he was talking bad about him. And that was Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns is the head of the table. He is the tribal chief of the bloodline and is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the longest championship reign in over 35 years. Dare I say, how strong will Roman Reigns be if the bloodline is not at his side at WrestleMania?
Michael Cole had a very, very strong bias towards Roman Reigns. Whether it was Big Dog Roman Reigns, whether it was the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, Michael Cole did an amazing job at elevating that character, especially the Tribal Chief character. He was so good at making us realize the greatness, the 1,000 plus day reign, every single Hall of Famer he was in the category of, the fact that he was untouchable, the fact that the bloodline was unbeatable, Michael Cole's commentary made it so much better. Like when you would hear Michael Cole talk about him, it was something that like the definite, like the word aura, you felt it through Michael Cole's voice. There was something so special about the way Michael Cole talked about Roman Reigns.
He's here! He's here! Roman Reigns is here! Holy hell! Roman Reigns has returned! But the question is, why is Roman Reigns here? Reigns into the ring, Superman punch! The solo Sikoa! The revival of the Roman Empire with a spear!
And the second one, I don't even think I need you guys to guess. I think it's very obvious on who Michael Cole is very, very biased towards. It's somebody that he watched grow up in the business. It's someone that he watched go from being the son of a legend to himself becoming a legend, becoming a face of this generation. And that is Cody Rhodes.
Finish the damn story!
The way Michael Cole describes Cody Rhodes, when he was on his story and every single like trial and tribulation and triumph he had was amazing, because there's something about the way that Michael Cole describes faces and heels that I don't think anyone was able to do in the WWE when it comes to like the PG version of it. Michael Cole made you fall in love with characters. He made you hate characters. But there's something about the way that he talked about Cody's story, especially with when he finished the story.
Come on, Cody! Crossroads!
It will forever, in my opinion, be remembered when you had the finished the story count on the 1, 2, 3 when he pinned Roman Reigns, to when he talked about everything that Cody's been through, and the fact that he was crying on commentary is something that it's like a detail that is untouchable when it comes to professional wrestling.
Cover! Finished the story!
Now, I want to know from you guys, do you think that there's any superstars that the commentary team that I mentioned has a super big bias towards that I might have missed? And do you think there's guys like, I didn't grow up in the Gorilla Monsoon era. I didn't really grow up in the Vince McMahon commentary era. You know, we've had guys like Byron Saxton do commentary, guys like JBL. You know, JBL was like a John Cena guy. He was also big on Alberto Del Rio when he was a champ, which was interesting. And then you had like Byron Saxton was a really big like underdog guy and whatever, and like he would back all the faces, but like those, in my opinion, they weren't really as biased as they should have been. But is there anyone that you guys think I'm missing that you guys would let me know down in the comments below? And if you guys enjoyed this video, do me one small favor. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video so more people can see it. Every like helps push the video out to more people. And if you guys would subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. Everyone who subscribes helps feed my cat right there. You guys see her right there? So every subscription helps feed her right there. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I just want to say much love for making it this far. This is Alan Owens. I'm signing out. This is much love from me to you guys. Peace out, everybody.